Hi, my name is ADEOLUWA. I am a singer-songwriter. I make experimental pop music. I love performing live. That's my favorite thing to do in the world. I love reading. I love dancing. I depends on what you ask. I might be good at it or not, but I do love to do it. And yes, that's long and short. I'm a pop star. It's like that's my thing. I'm a pop star. Yeah. I've always been a fan of performing live since I was young. I would always just do things and have people watch me. But making my own music, I think it started when I was in high school. I took an introduction to music course in freshman year of high school, and I could never forget it. We were analyzing because I'd be writing songs and I'd sing in church choir, but I never really saw myself as a musician. And that course in high school showed it kind of broke down how to make a song. And I was like, I do this, I can do this. And after that course, I started to just see myself as what I can do. And then when I was in senior year, I had an independent study project and you can do whatever you wanted to do. And I was like, I'm going to make a full length album. It's going to be a concept album. It's going to have the greatest transitions in the world. And it's going to be crazy. And my teacher was like, you only have a semester. I don't think you can. I'm like, no, I have a plan. And then I ended up making an EP because it was a lot. But I made an EP. I produced everything. I recorded everything. And I thought it was Grammy worthy. I was like, this is the best in the world. Of course it wasn't, but looking back at that, it made me believe in my own voice. And when I was making those songs and I was recording them and going to the studio every day, I was like, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I love doing. And after that EP, I just continued making music ever since then. I'm in a great place now in my career. I moved to Canada 2 years ago now. And before I moved, I was making music back home in my home country, Nigeria. And things were regular. I was kind of getting back in the swing of making music after I took some time off for school and work. And things were going well, but those years, I think, really prepared me for now because then I was building my identity as an artist. And I was like, I want to be performing live. I want to make experimental music. I want to do this. And I have a bunch of weird influences, right? I listen to everyone from Jonathan McReynolds to Adekunle Golds to Amy Winehouse to Green Day. And so like all these influences are always they come out weird when I make music. But I started to build consciously how I wanted my artistry to work out. And everything I get to do now, I feel so prepared to do that because I spent so much time creating in my head. This year started out great for me. I got to open up at the Saskatchewan Music Awards. I was nominated. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then I got to do a TV special, a live performance, like an hour-long TV special. And I released an EP. And so everything that I get to do now, there are things that I would, write down in my notepad. If I ever perform this song, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to have this intro and that intro. And so where I am in my career right now is a place where my dreams and my preparations I'm seeing them happen. And it's making me appreciate more the importance of doing something while you're waiting. Because like before, I would get sometimes discouraged and, disappointed that things were not turning out the way I wanted them to do because I was putting so much work and I still put in so much work. And like, I wasn't seeing anything, but I didn't stop. I would just continue. And like now, whenever I get an opportunity to do something, I'm good to go. I'm ready to go. And so that's encouraging me now to keep preparing, because I don't know what's next. And so where I am right now is a place where I'm seeing a lot of great things happen musically, and I'm also preparing for the next level of great things. I define success by knowing that it's a combination of two things. The first thing is that you are growing, you're challenging yourself. I think something is successful when it comes from hard work and it comes from intention and it comes from growing, but also doing something that allows you to be happy and allows you to not hate life. I think that's important for me because for the longest time I thought that to be successful, you had to deny yourself of certain simple things, and you have to stay up long hours and not sleep and be walking around with coffee in your stomach and angry at everybody, because you have a specific vision. You have to be rude to people to get to that and whatever. And as I've grown, especially in this last year, because I've gotten to work with so many great people and I've gotten to push myself and push them, but I was able to do it from a place of love and ease, and but still know that I was challenging myself. So I think it's important that success is not just achieving an award and winning something or getting the streams that you get at all costs, but also doing that, putting the work for that, but also looking at yourself in the mirror in the morning, and be like, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I drank water today. I checked on my family today. I love what I'm making, but still be like, but I need to sing better. I need to go to the gym more. I need to take my vocal classes more seriously. I need to research more about streams and whatnot, and just finding that balance.
If you need a love that's true, I'll be right in front of you. If you need a hand to hold, be a blanket in the cold. And wherever you should go, I'll be your map, your guide. So, baby, let me know. I just think that you should know that I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, baby. I'm all, that I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, baby. I'm all. We'll be running through the night, fast cars, green lights, bangers flashing through my eyes, fireworks, you and I, royalty, you are my pride. Now love, Simba, be the hand that you can hold, love that's worth its weight in gold, be the hand to hold, blanket in the cold, love that's worth its weight in gold. All for you, all for you. Be the hand to hold, blanket in the cold, love that's worth its weight in gold. All for you, all for you. That I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, baby. I'm all, that I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, that I'm all for you, baby. I'm all for you. I'm all for you. I'm all for you. I'm all for you. Be the hand to hold, a blanket in the cold, love that's worth its weight in gold. I'm all for you, you. That I'm all for you, all for you, baby. I'm all that I'm all for you. That I'm all for you. That I'm all for you.
All for You is my baby. I love that song so much. It's the it's the first song I've co-written with someone else. Shout out to my friend. His name is Tova. He's my brother. I was more than my friend. And I had the idea for the song in 2020 during the pandemic. And I just had like the idea in my head. I didn't really think anything of it. And then my producer, who's in Nigeria, he sent me a beat. And I almost never write to beats. I just never do. But sometimes I do. And this was one of those times where we were working on something, and he was like, "I'll send you." I was like, "Send me something cool." And he sent the beat to me. I was like, "Okay, this is cool." And I remember I was telling myself that the next couple of songs I'm going to write, I'm not going to have any lines or melodies that have me sustaining a note for long. And when I heard the beat, I was like, oh, I hear a melody, a note sustain. I was like, what am I going to do? So I tried. I was like, I'm going to cut it into, I'm going to make it like all four and then pause and say the U. I was like, no, it doesn't work. So I was like, of course. And so I started writing the song. And I remember lockdown when it ended, and I reached out to Tova and I was like, I have this song, I really like it. Do you want to write it with me? I basically had the chorus. I had the chorus and I had some of the first verse done. And he was like, sure. And I didn't even know what to expect. I've never written with someone before. And then I just kind of told him like what I saw for the song, how it made me feel. And we started writing it. And I was like, well, this is really cool. And then we wrote the second verse. And I always try to like switch it up when I write songs, like in terms of structure. And I was like, this is really cool. And then I recorded it. And for the longest time, it was, to me, the best thing I ever done. So I didn't want to release it. I was like, I don't want to just release this and it's not going to have the reception I want. It's going to hurt my feelings. And I realized earlier in 2021 that because I held the song so high, I wasn't able to make anything better. Because I was like, this is the best I've ever done. I can't release it now. So it was getting in my creative way of making new music. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Fine, I'm going to release it. I'm just going to put it out. And I put it out in, like, this would be July 2021 now. So I put it out and it's been great. I really do love the song. It's simple. It's basically a love song that is telling someone that, I got your back. Be the hand to hold, blanket in the cold, love that's worth its weight in gold. And just those simple lines about like reassuring you of the fact that someone does love you. And recently, because I've been growing in my faith or whatever, sometimes when I sing the song, I even like hear it as like God speaking to you and be like, I got your back. Like, just don't worry about it. And so like, to me, it's like, I listen to it and like, if I didn't write the song, I would love it. My songwriting process is one of my favorite things that I can do, because I think for the longest time I thought everyone could do it, and then I realized as I got older that that's not the case. And my favorite thing about songwriting, for me personally, it's different for everybody, but for me, it's that I feel whenever I write a song, there is a spin, like a spinning wheel that goes through every single life experience, every single memory, every single thought, place I've been, and it goes and it goes and it goes. Then it picks what it needs and drops it on my lap. Because there'll be times when I will write a song and not know what I'm writing about or where I got it from. It's like I hear it back or I listen to it again. So it's different every time, but what's the same is that it is taken from different things from my life and things that I've experienced. Sometimes I will hear a melody and I'll be like, oh, this melody is cool. And I will just like keep humming it to myself, and then the words will come and the song will be done. And there are other times when I have a notepad in my phone. I used to do it in a notebook, but now I have a phone that I put it in, and it's called Ideas. And I will just like, I'll hear like a line, I think one line I've heard recently was graves to gardens or something. Like someone would say something, I'll hear something, I'll just write down the line, and I have like a whole note full of just lines, and then one day like the stars will align and be like, oh, this line, this line, this line, this line, this line, and the lines all come together to make a song. For me, songwriting is about telling stories. All my songs are stories to some extent, because many times we think things happen to us specifically, and this is just my thing that I went through or I experienced. And when you write a song about it, and people are like, oh my God, I know what that line is about. Like, I know what that feels. I've had a couple of really cool moments where people will walk up to me and be like, oh, I love this song. I listen to it all the time. It reminds me of this and that, or have their own interpretation of it. And that's like it's a great gift, because I'm like, oh, that's how I got it, but I'm glad that it means that to you. So my songwriting process is basically a process of me finding a story from what I've gone through in life and having the perfect moment where the melodies and the lyrics allow me to tell that story. In my debut album, After Bells and Whistles, the last song on that album is called Those Days Are Gone. And that song, I wrote it over a span of years, from the idea to when I finished writing it. And it was about, me kind of growing up and realizing that memories change, but like newness does not mean bad. I should embrace it. And the song follows that journey of me being like, oh, I miss those old days. But like by the end, I'm like, actually, these new days are cool. I'm going to embrace them. And then I remember one of my friends randomly messaged me, and she said, actually, two people have messaged me about this song. And she was like, whenever she listens to it, that she tears up because it reminds her of her brother and how she never really gets to see him anymore. And I have another friend, which is weird because I don't really know the first person, but the second person is like a close friend of mine, like someone that knows me as like regular me. And he goes like, yeah, like we were driving and it came up on his shuffle in his car and he was singing out the words. I was like, whoa. And then he just told me about how like it reminds him of his mom, and like it just reminds him of his childhood and how things have changed because she lives in a different country. And I was like, whoa, that's wow. It was so cool to feel that one story had these different meanings to these different people.
Up and the stars align, and you're ready to eclipse the night. Let me know when the vibe is right. I'll come through, meet you at the waves don't pass. Match your energy flame for flame, crush into you till I fade away. I'm surfing through galaxies, we're levitating. You'll feel the ground underneath, tenderly waiting. Gives me great time, you're back to Mars. Oh, fly me to my heart, fly me to my heart, fly me to my heart. Oh, fly me to my heart, fly me to my heart, fly me to my heart. Stay crowned in the starry sight, smoke the water and ice the light. The purple and the sound of blue, just me and you. Participating in the Milky Way, so can break under violet shade. Blue screen with a belly ache, surfing through galaxies, we're levitating. Feel the ground underneath, tenderly waiting. Gives me quick, fly me back to Mars. Oh, fly me to my heart, fly me to my heart, fly me to my heart. Oh, fly me to my heart, fly me to my heart. Surfing through galaxies, we're levitating. I feel the ground underneath, tenderly waiting. Fly me to my heart, fly me
Okay, my song Mars, I wrote around the time I wrote All For You. Another one I wrote to a beat. We were working on a project and we had to make a bunch of songs for me. And we had like a time frame that we were supposed to, it didn't end up working out the way we thought it was gonna work out. And so I was with my friend Tova Zue and Oboise, and they were trying to like find me beats to to write to. Just because if you listen to my discography, I do a little, like I do it, my music is very experimental. So I might pop one day, rock one day, whatever. And so they play me things that they thought I would like. And then Zway started to play the beat from Mars that would become Mars. I was like, oh, this isn't, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Played that back, and he was like, yeah, he made this. He wasn't sure what he was gonna do with it. It's just kind of, weird. And I was like, this song reminds me of like space. And he looked at me and I was like, yeah. And I was like, I want it. And they're like, sure. And then they kind of were talking and I was just writing. Like the words came to me like super quickly. And like I knew like I usually, my entree into songwriting is like how it makes me feel. And also I could see myself performing it. I could see myself performing it. I was like, I'm writing this song. And so Mars is basically about when you fall in love, how how outer worldly that feels. So my EP All For You that I released July 2021 is like a journey of falling out of love and falling back into love. And Mars is the moment where you kind of fall back into love. And it's basically talking about how like love feels outer worldly and it's a planet. And I do a thing in the second verse where like I mismatch senses. So instead of saying I can hear the sound, I can hear the taste. And just like it's just like that initial rush when you're in love where like things are just like kind of hazy and like they're just like weird. And so yeah, I ended up writing it and it went through various changes when we finally recorded it. So many changes. But every time I recorded it or I listened back and we went back to mix and change vocals and whatever, it started to become closer and closer to what I wanted it to be. And then when I was going to perform it live, I was like, how am I going to translate this into a live performance that makes sense? And I just took a walk one day and I was singing it to myself and I just heard like the syncopation. I was like, dun, dun, dun. I was like, oh, I know what I want this to sound like and feel like. And yeah, thankfully my band was able to help me do that. What's next for me is definitely more live performances. I'm trying to build that muscle up for myself. I've had a couple of shows I've done so far, but I want to be able to do 2 hours on stage and, and just go and be good at that. For me, I love live performances. Like if you go on my YouTube, all my recommended is like live performances, behind the scenes of live performances, how they did this. And for me, it's the experience. Whenever I go to a concert, and I've gotten to go to some really great concerts, it lifts you from wherever you are in your life at that moment. If you go to a really good one and you're just in the world of the artist the entire time, and when it's over, you're like, whoa, back to earth. Why? And for me, I'm very specific about how that plays out. Just because every time I get to hold the microphone and sing for people, I take that to be like the biggest opportunity and the biggest privilege. And so everything has to be right. The staging, the lights, the choreography, the stage movement, the blocking, what we're wearing. I'm very like, my guys know me, I'm very like, this is how this is gonna look. And like at first it's kind of like hard to like relay that information to people, but they understand like what I'm always going for. I'm like always going for excellence, because what if this is the last time we get to do this, right? You want to look back at something and be like, given what we knew at that time, this is the best we could do and we're proud of that. So for me, like I'm always working about making my live performances better. Whether it's like figuring out the costume changes, how songs should flow, what I'm saying to the audience, everything has to be perfect. And so for me, a lot more live performances. And I'm also a very visual person in terms of making music, making art. And so I'm also working on doing like a bunch of videos and not just music videos, also different types of videos. I have so many ideas about how that can work. And I guess the last thing is just to grow in every way possible, become a better songwriter, become a better musician. Growth is very important for me, and I put conscious work into doing that, and I've been able to see results. That's why I'm here, that's why I can do this, and and I hope to be able to do more things like this.